One other piece to this, which again is just a sign of the times and why so many of these Republicans are backtracking, is, of course, we covered that Kansas ballot initiative, which very surprisingly went strongly in the pro-choice direction. Well, there are a number of other states that also have abortion-related ballot initiatives set to be on the ballot this November, Michigan being one of them. And let's go ahead and put this up on the screen. We just got some polling on how this is expected to go, and it looks like it is going to be a landslide. This is from Daniel Nashanian, who great editor-in-chief of Bolt's magazine, really useful website that I highly recommend. So he says a huge poll lead for abortion rights in Michigan, 67%. Plan to support the ballot initiative to enshrine abortion rights in the state constitution versus just 24% who are against. This would effectively sideline the state's pre-Roe abortion ban that looms large in the state. He goes on to say 70% of independents and 81% of voters under the age of 34 are saying yes in the poll. So, you know, Michigan, obviously the quintessential swing state at this point. There are some key races on the ballot, including Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who, you know, Republicans had previously been very hopeful that they'd been able to defeat. Having this abortion ballot initiative on the ballot, first of all, I think helps to drive out turnout on the Democratic side, but also just, again, a sign of how out of step Republicans are. Even with when you're getting 67%, you're talking about you got a sizable chunk of Republicans who are planning to vote yes on this initiative.
Well, and look, we'll see what the final vote tally is, but just a reminder, which is that one of the people that we showed you before was specifically a Michigan Republican. And listen, I mean, Michigan is a state which Donald Trump won in 2016. I want to say by what, 10,000 votes? And he didn't lose it by all that much in 2020. So what happened, folks? Well, it's just kind of like minimum wage in Florida. When you decouple this away from the traditional party lines, it turns out there's a hell of a lot of crossover appeal. And as I have said literally ad nauseum, at least 1/3 of the people who voted for Donald Trump were themselves pro-choice. And if you put it in this stark language and you make it kind of an up or down thing and remove it from party politics, then you're going to find out that even in quote-unquote swing states, like actual 50-50, the margin is somewhere like 2/3 to almost 75%. Again, we will see what the actual vote total is. But given what happened in Kansas, which is what, R+15, I want to say, what does that indicate? From what I read, if you extrapolate the Kansas results in terms of what it means on the electoral results for the whole country, it would mean 40 out of 50 states in the nation would side with the Kansas view of the law, as in making it so that you cannot have an outright ban. As to what the eventual time frame was, heartbeat bill at 6 weeks, 15 weeks, whatever. That always, of course, remains to be seen. But if that's the case, that is not exactly what a lot of the pro-life people said what America was going to look like. And it turns out that a lot of Republicans actually don't even agree with them in terms of the outright ban.
It's a problem for them at the governor's race level.
Huge problem.
Because, Gretchen Whitmer, her approval rating was not that bad, but she obviously came under a lot of fire and really became quite a sort of lightning rod figure during the COVID pandemic for having relatively stringent COVID policies. The Republicans nominated the supposedly more moderate figure in Tudor Dixon, who's like a sort of conservative media personality.
She was picked by Mike Pence, so.
Mike Pence, Betsy DeVos came in heavy for. The DeVosses are big political players in that state. They're sort of the political players in that state. Trump eventually, because it looked like she was going to win, he eventually decides to endorse as well. So, but she has, continued to reiterate very extreme positions on abortion. She recently got asked about like a child victim of incest and rape and wouldn't back down from the idea that, yes, this child should be forced to have the baby. So if you don't think that that's going to show up in some ads here, if it hasn't already, then you are sadly mistaken. And just having this initiative on the ballot will help to center that issue and make it a really important part of this election come the fall.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.